Welcome to the JAKIB Media Halftime Show here at the Gallery Bar, booking games in Atlantic City, where the Eagles now trail the Washington Commanders 17-10. If that score sounds familiar at halftime, well, it's because it's the second time they have gone into halftime trailing the Commanders this season 17-10, just like they did now in Week 4. We hope for the Eagles to turn it around. It seems like they did right before that half, but unfortunately you saw the field goal there to end it, a 5-play drive, just 32 seconds ticking off the clock there for the Washington Commanders before they were able to go up 17-10 with that 61-yard field goal. Bill Colarulo here for the halftime show, as is Kayla Santiago. I'm Marc Farzetta. A lot of interesting things happening in that first half. Number one thing here, Bill, is the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. You want to see that be able to step up. You're seeing Logan Thomas jump over guys. You're seeing guys be able to leap into the end zone for touchdowns here over James Bradbury on 2 different occasions. What do you need to see different from Sean Desai and his defense in the second half?
Yeah, really disappointed by this Philadelphia Eagles defense in this first half. This was a defense that's played so well against the Los Angeles Rams, the New York Jets, the Miami Dolphins, and they come out here against not a very good Washington Commanders offense, and they let Sam Howell go 24 of 26, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 128.5. They're making him look like Patrick Mahomes out there. Really disappointing with this Eagles defense right now.
Kayla, we were talking about it when it comes to the offensive side of things for the Eagles. Kenny Gainwell gets the carry in crunch time in the red zone when it matters most, and he coughs up the football after a 10-play drive. Why am I seeing Kenny Gainwell, not DeAndre Swift?
I wish I could answer that for you. I don't know what's going on with DeAndre Swift. I feel like there has to be some nagging injury right now, and I don't know anything. But at this point right now, DeAndre Swift has 1 carry in this game, and it makes me so miserable when I see Brian Johnson putting in Kenny Gainwell in that situation. For whatever reason, the Eagles love this guy, but he has proven why he should not be in there over DeAndre Swift.
Absolutely, and Rashad Penny, again, inactive today, so it's the Boston Scott and DeAndre Swift show. At least it's supposed to be, so why Gainwell is getting the ball in that moment is beyond me. It's something that I know is confusing a lot of Eagles fans. According to social media, a lot of people don't like it, and I don't like it either. Why aren't we seeing more DeAndre Swift?
Well, we talked about this in the pregame. I talked about how concerning it's been, the average yards per carry for these running backs. They've only given their running backs 3 carries in the first half. DeAndre Swift has 1. Kenny Gainwell has 2. Do you know how many yards they have?
How many yards?
-1. These running backs, they're not giving them a chance to get any sort of rhythm here, but -1 rushing yards from our running backs, it's just unacceptable. But look, the positive here, as bad as this Philadelphia Eagles team played in the first half, it's only 17-10, and we saw what they did in the second half last time against the Commanders. But offense has to be better, can't turn the ball over, got to convert in the red zone, but you have to figure out a way to shut down this not very good Commanders offense.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, especially when you think about the ebbs and flows of the game when it comes to Sam Howell and how he is playing in this game. The first incompletion he had when he was 14 of 15, the only incompletion he had at that point was the deep ball to Pringle, where the coverage was completely beat downfield. So that was an instance where obviously the Eagles caught a huge break. Then Howell catches a huge break later in the game when, again, James Bradbury's man is targeted, and James Bradbury attacks the line of scrimmage, has a pick 6 in his gut, Kayla, and just drops it right then and there.
He hasn't had the best game here today and also Sean Desai at this moment, he just needs to have these backs a little bit closer to these receivers. They're playing way too much off, and I think it's right now they may be afraid they're going to get beat in these situations, but they've got to come up with those plays, especially if you're going to let Sam Howell play like that. Your defense has to do something too. I know we don't like how little they've run the ball, but also the defense can take a little bit of blame in that first half as well.
Yeah, that's a lot of the bad, and there's a lot of the ugly as well. But some of the good right now has to do with A.J. Brown, 88 receiving yards already to this point at halftime. Looks like he's going to be on his way to yet another 125-plus yard performance today for the Eagles. If that continues, that'll be a record in the NFL. Let's go to FedEx Field right now and talk to our friend John McMullen, who is standing by. John, first and foremost, that Kenny Gainwell fumble, how do you think that affects the Eagles and who they're going to be using personnel-wise in the backfield? We'll check back with John in a moment, having a little difficulty trying to connect right there, but we'll get his thoughts on the Kenny Gainwell situation. But back to A.J. Brown. I mean, you talk about a guy you can rely on each and every week, and he seems to be the man there for Jalen Hurts. We saw Dallas Goedert get involved a little bit more than we have seen in recent weeks, and now A.J. Brown just continues to be a model of consistency for this Eagles offense. As good as that is, how much can we bank on it continuing there, Bill?
No one's been able to stop A.J. Brown week after week. It's mind-boggling. We're watching the game in the green room. We're saying, how does he get this open? But he just keeps getting open. The offense needs to convert when they get into the red zone, but I really don't think that's the problem. The problem is just you have to shut down this Commanders offense. You can't allow a team that's given up an NFL record 40 sacks through 7 games. You get 0 sacks on Sam Howell. So, look, the offense needs to be better. Can't turn the ball over. But this is on the defense in that first half.
No, I absolutely agree. Just to go back to A.J. Brown here, Kayla, your reaction was perfect to all of this. He goes up with the one-handed grab. He's able to come down inbounds, gets both feet down and a knee down as well in the end zone there. But your reaction to that touchdown?
I was so happy. I mean, A.J. Brown is just unstoppable right now, and he's just so smart as well. I know it seems kind of easy to be like, hey, you need to get a knee down and or 2 feet down, but to be able to make that one-handed grab and then make sure that you are in play as well, this guy can do a little bit about everything. I don't even know if he's human at this point because being able to watch him week after week, the defense can game plan all they want, but there's just no stopping him, and I'm just glad he's on the Eagles side.
One thing that I will say is disappointing so far about this game in particular, and I know Kevin Byard he's being thrown into the fire right now, but the guy is a 2-time All-Pro, guy's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's been around the league for a long time now. Really no impact here so far in this secondary, and so far the secondary between Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Sidney Brown at least playing aggressive, and Kevin Byard, you're not seeing really a huge difference from week 4 against this Commanders team to right now in week 8 what you're seeing. You're seeing Sam Howell go out there and be able to establish that rhythm. If he's moved off his mark and he has to roll to his right specifically, he's able to throw down the field very well, find guys like Jahan Dotson, for instance, find guys like McLaurin also who are open downfield, and Thomas as their tight end is just getting open, it seems like all day long so far in that first half. So what adjustment do you see from Sean Desai there, Bill, in the second half that you think we can take away from it as on a positive note?
That's the one thing we have to say about Sean Desai is he's been able to adjust at halftime week after week. So let's hope he does it again. But Seth Joyner says it every week, and it's even more on point this week. These corners got to get closer to the line of scrimmage. You got to put pressure on these wide receivers. Sam Howell's getting the ball out of his hands quickly. You see what Washington's trying to do. They can't protect them, so they're getting the ball out fast. And when your corners aren't pressing these receivers, that's why he's going 24 of 26. So that's what I'd like to see Sean Desai do. Get your corners closer to the line of scrimmage, run a little press coverage, force Howell to make decisions when you're up in these receivers' face. But if you're going to give up 8.2 yards a play, and you're going to let them run on you 6.3 yards per carry, Eagles have no chance in this game. So Desai better make the adjustments, but at the end of the day, the players have to execute as well.
Yeah, when you think about adjustments, you can go back to that Rams game where we saw the great adjustments there in the second half. Kayla, we talked about it when it came to Cooper Kupp, how he was able to make the adjustments for the second half. 95 yards in the first half, 24 in the second half. So what do you need to see from Sean Desai in this game to see those same types of adjustments?
This is the thing. I think Sean Desai has done a really good job at making sure the top receiver on each team every single week in the second half, he's able to adjust and make sure they don't get as many completions. But right now what the Commanders are able to do, they've just been spreading the ball around so well at this moment that to this point, I think it's going to be a little bit tough. But if you look at Sean Desai right now, I definitely have the confidence in him to make that halftime adjustment. We've seen it week after week after week. I think a little bit more pressure needs to be put on Sam Howell as well. I'm really surprised that all these guys in the front are not able to get this pressure that they've been getting week after week. I think that needs to be a little bit more in the game plan.
Yeah, obviously Eagles are getting the ball coming out of halftime here down 7 points, but one of the big hits that they took in that first half, unfortunately, is on their offensive line. We've seen Jalen Hurts have to scramble a little bit, have to buy a little bit more time there. Soyo Peta comes out of the game, and then you have Tyler Steen come in. Haven't seen him really since the preseason. We're talking about the run game here. That's not going to go nearly as well unless you have some continuity there on the offensive line. We're going to try John one more time here. John McMullen from FedEx Field standing by. Let's start off with that injury, though, to Sue Opeta. What's the prognosis there, John? Is he expected to come out in the second half? Have you heard anything?
Yeah, we haven't gotten an update, guys, on Sue Opeta yet. Tyler Steen came in, as you mentioned. Those are his first NFL snaps as a player. So He's thrown into the fire pretty quickly, and if you notice, right guard is always the position that handles the silent count. So there's more complication for a rookie player playing that position in Philadelphia. But he handled himself very well. The Eagles were really good on that last drive. Obviously, tremendous touchdown catch by A.J. Brown. And then they give up, bad first half for the secondary. There's no other way to describe it. I think Eric Bieniemy came in with a very good game plan, understood Sam Howell's got to get the football out of his hands quickly. He saw so many bubble screens, so many quick throws early in the game. Eagles secondary, back seven as a whole, include the linebackers, was really struggling for the most part. You had that James Bradbury, he had a chance to get a pick six, stopped him on 4th and 1, and that kind of turned the game. The Eagles did a great job taking advantage of that, going back down, getting back in the game. I still think they're in good shape, though, because, as Washington continues down this path, you got to expect adjustments from Sean Desai, understanding the football is going to come out quickly, but we'll see if the Eagles can persevere. They're moving the football. Both teams are just throwing it, though, not running the football.
All right, John, thank you so much. Appreciate your patience and being able to jump on with us. So thank you for joining us from FedEx Field. We'll talk to you in postgame.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to seeing those adjustments in the second half from Sean Desai and hopefully finally get that pressure on Sam Howell. On pace once again to be the most sacked quarterback ever in a single season. It'd be nice if the Eagles could continue to capitalize and add to that total. All right, we'll be back with you guys for the Pond Hockey post-game show here from the Gallery Bar booking games at Ocean Casino in Atlantic City.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.
Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
Some say courage is something you're born with. Others say courage is something you find. In every generation throughout history, courage has been celebrated, sought after, needed. It holds the potential for a life of impact. But what if courage isn't just something you hope for or stumble upon? What if courage is something that can be shaped at a place that inspires you, where leaders invest in you, your community believes in you, and your life becomes something bigger than it could ever be alone?
Eagles. Eagles.